Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shinyavadi Pashata Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Te Namaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishbhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण वेलकम एवरीवन
Hare Krishna
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण वेलकम. So today chapter 7, so we'll do the first part today. So chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute truth. Jnana Vignana Yoga, no? It's also known as. So as you all know, we have already covered the first 6 chapters, which was dealing with the karma, right? How to connect God with our work, with our so through the work. And now the next 6 chapter, it's all very very important chapters of Bhagavad Gita, because these 6 chapters of Bhakti, the devotional chapters, the 6 chapters, Krishna has kept it in the middle, because always something which is very precious is protected, no? So that is why it is kept in between the Karma Yoga and the Jnana Yoga. So the 6, it's said as a cream of the cake, the most tastiest thing. So all are we can relish these chapters. So let's understand how to understand Lord through Bhakti. So let's pay obeisances to Sri Sri Radha Govind. So with their blessings, we can understand this. And also by blessings of Srila Prabhupada, I think that picture has missed. So in last chapter, the sections we covered in chapter 6, advancing in yoga through detached work. So how being in material world, one can be detached and one can perform his duty. And then in section 2, we saw yoga ruda stage, giving up work. Can someone tell me what are the 2 stages? The neophyte stage, what is that neophyte stage called? And the advanced stage of yoga. If you remember, who have attended last class. Yoga Ruda is the advanced stage. So for the initial devotee, for the neophyte stage, what is that name? Yoga Rurukshu, right? Yoga Rurukshu stage. And then the highest is Yoga Ruda, where that is Samadhi. So where the yogi sees the Paramatma, the 4-handed form of the Vishnu, that is the highest Yoga Ruda stage. And then in the section 3, we saw further stages in the practice of yoga. Section 4 was necessity of controlling the turbulent mind. So how a mind can be one's own friend and enemy. So when a mind is controlled, then it is our friend. An uncontrolled mind is said to be the enemy. And Krishna says, with detachment and practice, we can control the mind. So, and then in section 5, we saw destination of the unsuccessful yogi. So there are, Krishna speaks about two destinations. One is for someone who has done like uh, he has done like some part of his life, he has done the spirituality and he has left it. So what will happen to him? So Salpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Nothing will go waste in Krishna consciousness. Even if we even attend 18 days Bhagavad Gita class also, so that credit is always there and it will be carried to our next every life. So Krishna says that person will be given a birth in a rich family, aristocratic family, so that he can focus on spiritual things. Because otherwise, if you are only if we have to work on our basic needs of life, then we can't focus on Krishna, right? So Krishna will make sure that he's all everything is there for him. He need not worry about basic needs of family, basic needs, so that he's quite rich. So, and the second person where he has done maximum, most of his life he has been doing the spirituality. He has given up all the material desires and dedicated his life for Krishna. So such yogi Krishna will give, but this is very rare. Krishna says he'll be born in a Vaishnava family or a devotee family, because from childhood that environment is given to that child. So we see also Prabhupada, like, right? Prabhupada, for sure, he would have done some austerity in previous life. Actually, Prabhupada is not like a Nitya Baddha like us. He's not a condition. Prabhupada is a Nitya Siddha, because he has come here to deliver the fallen souls. He belongs to spiritual planet. Otherwise, it is impossible for a single person to do such a miracle, right? It is miracle only what Prabhupada has done. Like in a very short span of 10 years, 10 to 12 years, he has made 108 temples and he has made so many devotees. More than in the first 10 years, he had more than 10,000 devotees. That's not an ordinary thing. That too, Krishna consciousness is not easy to follow. Many people have not taken, because when Prabhupada did a Pandal program in Bombay, so though 20,000 people used to come every day, not everybody were getting interested in Krishna consciousness, because uh, it's not easy to follow 4 regulative principles and then follow the 16 rounds every day. Many people give up, right? Krishna says not everybody come to Krishna. Bahunam janmanamante dhyanamam mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. It's very, very rare that a soul comes to Krishna. So Prabhupada has done that miracle, and that is why. But there are we can just take as an example, like how he was born in a Vaishnava family from birth. He had that, and we know the symptoms. Like we can see in children from very childhood, they have that inclination towards God. We can see in the children, right? So that is the other one. And then in section 5, Krishna says that the topmost yogi is the bhakta yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham matgata nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam yome bhakta. I don't know, I'm not getting the last line. So Krishna declares that the bhakti yogi is the highest. So today's chapter sections, so we'll see 7.1 to 3, knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him. So 4 to 12, knowing Krishna is the source of both material and spiritual energies. 13 to 14, 3 modes are controlled by Krishna, therefore surrender. 15 to 19, the impious lack knowledge and never surrender to Krishna. The pious develop knowledge and surrender. So here we see 4 kind of people who don't surrender, and 4 kind of people who surrender to Lord. And 20 to 25, others who have no knowledge, those who surrender to demigods, those who are impersonalists. So this is not a right understanding of Krishna. So it's a improper understanding of the Lord. And then 26 to 30th, the bewilderment of living entity and his freedom through knowledge of, what is that? Knowledge of Krishna. Okay. So synopsis. So in 6.47, Krishna declares that best of yogi who thinks always of Krishna in devotion and concentrate on him in full faith. So in this chapter, we'll see begins with stress process of hearing, the way of acquiring knowledge by descending process as only process. So what is it called as descending process? Can someone tell me? What is descending process?
Mataji, learning about Krishna from our Guru.
Disciplic
Yeah,
succession.
yeah, disciplic succession is very nice. So, learning through disciplic succession. So, Krishna says in chapter 4, right? Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo vidu. So, this learning through hearing, because everything we can't learn through experiences, no? And that is not said to be a very intelligent one. So, if we, because the Shastras are said to be the Shruti Pramana. So, whatever we it is there, we have to take it as the absolute truth. I mean, if we take like that, then the person is more intelligent. Otherwise, we cannot go through everything. I mean, there are two kinds of understanding. One is the ascending, one is descending. So basically, the science knowledge, the science, the material science, that is the ascending. So usually through experimentation, everything is believed. But in spiritual life, it is not like that. It's all about hearing. So that is why Krishna says in that first shloka itself, tat shunu, right? So here, so how one can know the okay, these are the sorry. So we see knowing Krishna by process of hearing about him, knowing Krishna as sources of matter and spirit. Krishna controls the mode of material nature. The impious, okay, this all we just saw. Never surrender to pious, do surrender to demigods and impersonalists, bewilderment of living entities, and freedom by knowing Krishna. So, how can one know that somebody is advancing? Prabhupada says that does not require any certificate to be given or anything. If you are developing more faith in Krishna, Krishna's words, and in the scripture, that means you are progressing in your spiritual life. If we are not developing that faith, that means we still have to work more hard. No? So section A deals with knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him. So Krishna requests Arjuna to hear of both his material and spiritual energies and declares that transcendentalist who succeeds in truly knowing him is most rare. श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमना पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तत् शृणु. Now here, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So how to understand Lord Krishna? So it is not easy because we cannot see Lord. No, currently with our eyes, ours is a charma chakshu. Charma chakshu is a material eyes, and to see the Lord, we need to have prema chakshu. That is the with only with love. When a person this in Brahma Samhita it is said the pantastu not pantastu premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva uh, uh, Santa Sadaiva Vilokayanti Em Shama Sundar Gunaswarupam. So actually the devotees who are who have love for the Lord, they are able to see Krishna 24 hours in their heart, right? So that is only possible when we advance. So currently we have to understand Krishna through hearing. That is why Krishna also say here, Tat Shunu. So Prabhupada once met, Prabhupada when he was working still that time, when he comes to know that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj, has visited Vrindavan, and he wanted to meet him. He goes there to meet. Actually, Prabhupada also says, whenever we go to this dham, it's not just seeing the places, but more important is we have to see a person, a realized person who has God realized. The such people we have to meet. At least the senior devotees. And that is why whenever this ISKCON Mangaluru, when they do yatras, I don't know if any of you have joined anytime, you may know that every day there will be lectures from senior devotees in the evening. So morning half day will be seeing the places, and there also everywhere regarding the place Mahima and all that will be described. So we sit sometime, there'll be lecture and then the kirtan and all. After that, evening there'll be lecture. So that is very important that we hear. So hearing is very important. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, when he's there in Vrindavan, Prabhupada visits there, and many thousands of disciples visited. And every day he used to give a long lecture, and it used to be like it would go whole day from morning, and then after 4 5 hours, like people can't sit, right? They don't have taste actually in that. Many people who come and they want to see, because Vajranabha, Krishna's grandson, he has made so many thousands of temples there. So it like you can never finish seeing the temples if you start seeing there in Vrindavan. So it's not practically not possible to go to all the temples. But then people would go, and then after some time he would say, after taking for 4 5 hours, he would say that if anybody wish to go and see the temples, you can go. And Prabhupada would never go. Like slowly the crowd would become less. It would come from hundreds to then tens, like that. And then finally only 4 5 people, and Prabhupada used to full stay till the end. And then his Guru Maharaj used to ask him, why you don't want to go and see the temple? Then he would say that temple anytime I can see, but I cannot listen to you all. I mean, I want to listen to you more. So that should be our intention. Like we should be hearing more. So hear more about Lord, and from the pure devotees. That is why we have to hear more Prabhupada lectures. So yeah. So there's a shloka in Bhagavatam. Shrinvatam swakatam Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantasto abhadrani vidnoti surutsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of a devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. See, so the more we hear, our heart will become cleansed. Krishna will remove, he cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. Currently, we are very much attached to this material world. So, how do we get purified? Because we are in a bodily platform, we are thinking that I'm this body. So, how will we know God? So that is the next level. We have not understood the self itself. No, we have still not understood that I am not body, I am the soul. That consciousness has not developed. And how do we understand the Lord? So for that we need mercy of Guru and Krishna. So more and more when we hear, our heart cleanse. Cheto darpana marjan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that more and more you chant. So Krishna has come. He is in a Namarupa. So he is so merciful. In the Kali Yuga, Namarupa only. Krishna is in the form of name. So even when we chant the holy name of Lord, so it is so precious. I mean, it can help us come over the freed from mode of passion and ignorance, and we can establish in the sattva guna, right, and freed from all the material lust. So Krishna explains how to know him by the process of hearing. So Krishna is the absolute truth. Sorry, what is absolute truth? Basically, the perfect knowledge of the Lord is called as absolute truth. And how can that be understood by three phases? Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. Brahman means impersonal, because it's just Krishna's effulgence is called as Brahman, and the analogy given is the like sunshine. And Paramatma is a localized, that is, he is in our heart as a Paramatma in all the living entities. It's called as partial realization. And the analogy is sun disk, the sun planet, right? And then Bhagavan is the highest realization. So that is the sun god himself, because in the sun planet, there is a deity that is worshipped. I mean, the sun god. So similarly, Krishna is Bhagavan. So understand Krishna means understanding Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, right? And his pastimes, all that is called as, and all paraphernalia. So that is understanding, the proper understanding of Bhagavan. Not just understanding that Krishna is some light or some power, there is some God. No, that is not a proper understanding. So how can this living entity means the spirit soul, can understand the absolute truth? So by different yoga practices. What are those? So the Jnana Yoga. by doing Jnana Yoga, one can attain Brahman. The Jnanis, because they want to merge with Brahman. I mean, they want to merge with the Lord. The Jnanis, but that is not highest. And then Ashtanga Yoga, through Ashtanga Yoga, the yogi, the Siddhas, right? They are all, so they get some Siddhis and they see the Paramatma. And the highest is the Bhakti Yoga, right? Through Bhakti Yoga, can realize Bhagavan. So by realizing what will happen, so concentrating focus, the person starts to focus on the Lord, right? Focusing the mind on Krishna. So once you, how do you focus? By engaging in 9 process of devotional service, which begins with hearing from Lord Krishna or devotees. So also it is very important from whom do we hear, because if we hear from somebody like somebody who is not coming from a Guru Parampara or from some politician, or because that person himself is in a material life, I mean he and if he is giving that knowledge, right, so that is not purified knowledge. But though we are not purified, like we are also like giving whatever Prabhupada is giving, but the Prabhupada also says that I may not be perfect, but Krishna is perfect. The knowledge given by the acharyas is perfect. So what are we doing here? We just copy, right? Prabhupada himself says that I'm just like a postman. I'm just giving what is being given to me from the acharyas. I'm just passing on to him. So the same way, you're just giving the knowledge which is there. So that which is the perfect. So anyone can tell what are the 9 processes of bhakti, devotional service?
Smaranam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakyam, Dasyam, Atmanivedanam.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna
Very good.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Bhagya Lakshmi Mataji, you want to say?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes.
Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Saksyam, Atmanivedanam.
Very good. Very nice. Yes. So
Thank
these
you,
are the
Mataji.
9 yes, Hare Krishna. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. So at least even if we do Shravanam and Kirtanam also, we can attain perfection. It is said. Prabhupada says, just by hearing about the Lord and doing the Kirtan also, we can attain perfection. So by constant hearing, Lord Paramatma purifies the heart. So devotee develops the transcendental knowledge. Matta smriti jnanam apohanam. I mean, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti. Krishna says that I will give that knowledge, how to come to me, right? When we develop that desire to serve the Lord, Krishna gives that knowledge. Becomes fixed in devotional service, the person, and then freed from mode of passion and ignorance and lust and greed. Impurities are wiped, situated in pure goodness. What is pure goodness is called as? What is another name for pure goodness? There are 3 gunas, no? Sattva guna, Raja guna.
Raja, Sattva, Tama.
Sattva guna is goodness, mode of goodness. What is pure goodness?
Passion, right, Mataji? Mode of passion.
Mode of passion is Shuddha, yes, correct.
Purity,
Shuddha
Mataji.
Sattva. Yeah.
Purity.
It is Shuddha Sattva guna, it is called as. Okay. So yes, becomes enlivened in devotional service, understand signs of Krishna perfectly. So when because Krishna cannot be understood by our own endeavor, only with mercy. And when we involve in more and more in devotional service, the mystery starts to reveal, right? You slowly get to understand the Bhagavad Gita and the Lord. So Krishna gives that understanding. And then complete knowledge of absolute truth. Then only the person can be able to understand the Krishna. So these are the 9 devotional service just now you mentioned. Shravanam, and this is told by Prahlad Maharaj. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Iti Purushaspita Vinau Bhaktir Chenava Lakshana Kriyeta Bhagavat. It's not visible, sorry. Adetam Uttamam. Okay. So these are the 9. And for every, like Shravana means hearing about the Lord. Oh, what is this name has become? Okay, it's Maharaja Parikshit, right? So hearing is Parikshit Maharaj, because he heard the Bhagavatam from uh, Shukamuni for 7 days and 7 nights, right? And then he's the Acharya for that. And then chanting, so Kirtanam, so Shukadev Goswami, who was telling the Bhagavatam. So it's not just a, chanting the holy name, that is also Kirtan. Also, when we talk about the Lord, that is also Kirtan. When we read scriptures, that is also Kirtan. When you tell about someone about chanting or the importance of Krishna consciousness, that is also Kirtan, right? All these are Kirtan. And then remembering Vishnu Smaranam, Prahlad Maharaj, always remembering the Lord. And Pada Sevanam, Lakshmi Devi, always serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Archana, Maharaja Prutu. So he was doing the Archanam for the Lord. And Vandanam, Akrura, was paying obeisances on his way from Mathura to Vrindavan. So when he sees the footprints of the Lord Balram and Lord Krishna, he starts paying obeisances. So it is Vandanam. And then Dasyam, Lord Hanuman, always worshipping the feet of Sri Lord Ram, right? And then Sakyam, Arjuna. So Atmanivedanam, Bali Maharaj. So these are the acharyas whom we remember. So this devotional service, through these devotional services, one can understand the Lord, right? Jnanam te aham savijnanam idam vakshyamyasheshatah yajnatva neha bhuyonyaj jnatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. So now Krishna is going to explain about both the material knowledge and the phenomenal is the material knowledge and numinous is the spiritual knowledge. So what is the knowledge means to understand who is the creator of this world, right? What is the creation and who is the creator? Creator of both material world and spiritual world. So Krishna explains full knowledge, phenomenal and numinous. So Jnana and Vignana. So complete knowledge means the transcendental knowledge about the Lord. So phenomenal knowledge acquired or perceived by senses, that is matter. Seeing object as it is appearing to our senses, which is disconnected from Krishna. So the material knowledge, whatever we learn in schools and colleges, that is all, there is no Krishna there, no? So that's all about perceiving through senses. So because for the numinous knowledge about Krishna, we cannot perceive through our senses. That is why only through devotional service, how we will be able to understand the Lord. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indriye sevon mukhe jivado swayameva spurati adaha. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi. So Shri Krishna, his form, past tense, quality, these things cannot be perceived through senses. Sevon mukhe jivado. So only by devotional service we can understand. So here it is said, knowledge about the spirit not acquired through senses, object as it is necessary perceived by senses. Seeing object as Krishna's energy. So the highly elevated souls, they're able to see everything in connection with Krishna, right? That is why they are able to be so compassionate. How Prabhupada is so compassionate to all the living entities, because they are in Brahma Bhuta stage. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na shochati na kangshati. Sama sarva bhuteshu. No? They are able to see everyone at equal level because they are able to see Krishna in everyone, the Paramatma. So controller of both, Krishna is controller of both the phenomenal and numinous, right? So this phenomenal knowledge is called as Jnana and spiritual knowledge is called as Vignana. And Krishna is the causes of all causes. Sarva Karana Karana. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. And source of all knowledge. Whatever knowledge we have, the source is Krishna. It's not just the knowledge, whatever you see, the cause. So if we go back to the source, then it will be Krishna. And only object for meditation for yoga, all yoga process. Lord Krishna explain. So because what is yoga? When Lord is connected, only then it is yoga. Otherwise, it is just bhoga, no? Karma bhoga it will become. Even the karma also, when it is connected to Lord only, it becomes yoga. So all yogas are the object of meditation. So Neyam, Krishna says, no, in chapter 8, what is the whom should one to meditate upon? On Krishna. So Krishna explains to Arjuna the qualification. So qualification is what? To be a bhaktosi me sakha cheti, rahasyam etad uttamam, because you are my dear bhakta, devotee and a friend. That is why Krishna gives this knowledge. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So it's not easy to understand Krishna. Krishna himself says here that you cannot understand me. I mean, very less people come to understand Krishna, and even in them, very few attains. Very few are able to really understand the Lord. So here we see a picture of the marathon, right? Many people, lakhs of people participate, but only very few are able to reach till the end. So similarly, very rarely some people come to Krishna consciousness, and also in that, very few people are able to go till the end. Many times we see, even in the 18 days, many people drop. And here also we see in the classes, right? Gradually the strength we see it is going down. Not everybody get that interest. Krishna himself says that not easy to come to Krishna. So rarely man achieves perfection. Out of perfected souls, even rarely some understand Krishna. So Prabhupada says that there are different grades of man. So generally there are two people. So generally 95% population are interested in animal propensities. Basically, the things common in animal and human. It is eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Right? Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha. So these things only people are. If you can see any of persons, right? What are they doing the whole day? This will be only between these four things most of the time. And if they're doing something else also, that is also for their own sense gratification. So that will also fall into the same thing. If you're earning only for self, right? We are not there. There's no God there. Then again, that is also for that is like a sense gratification only. So, but then very few are there who are interested in transcendental knowledge, knowing about the soul, super soul, body, and absolute truth. So 1 to 6 chapters, understanding self, super soul, and process of realization. Because Krishna speaks a lot in the chapter 2 about the soul, right? The qualities of soul. And more than, I think, 20 shlokas which speak about the soul, and then super soul and process of realization. So difference between the soul and matter, Jnana Yoga. So this is soul and matter. Jnana Yoga, Brahman, and Dhyana is Paramatma realization. So this is a process of realization, how one can understand Krishna. So understanding Krishna, absolute truth, cause of all causes, supreme personality, all 6 opulences in full. Can someone name what are the 6 opulences of Krishna?
Most beautiful, wealth, fame, strength, renunciation.
Yes. And then beauty.
Beauty.
Yeah, very nice. So these are the 6 opulences. Only Krishna has this in full, right? We see in material world also, people may have one of the opulences, or not possible like all the opulences a person has. 1 or 2 opulences one may have, but that is also not in full. But Krishna has everything in full. That is why he's called as Bhagavan. can only be known by process of Krishna consciousness engaged in devotional service. Process of bhakti is not easy to practice as proclaimed by impersonalists because they don't want to get into service, right? So that is only so that is why they cannot attain the highest process of devotional service, which is not considering the authenticity of Upanishad, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra. As per Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said to be simply disturbance to the society. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpata Taiva Kalpate. Utpata Taiva Kalpate is a simply disturbance to the society. So even in ISKCON, we see that whatever is followed and given by acharyas, and whatever is followed in the temple, the puja, everything is as per Narada Pancharatra Vidhi. So it is followed. It's not like as per my own whims or whatever I feel like I can do. No, for everything there is a proper procedure to be followed. So that is what is said. The devotional services to be done in that way. I mean, in home, obviously, it is not possible for us to do in like that, because in temple the deities are established like that in through Narada Pancharatra by reciting certain mantras, and so that is why those are very strict in temple. But obviously, in home, it is not possible. We can chant the name of the Lord. So knowing Krishna is the source of both the material and spiritual energies. Section B. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 constitute my separated energies. So these are all gross elements, right? The 5 Pancha Mahabhuta, it is said as earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the subtle, this is mind, intelligence, and false ego are the 8. So all this come, one is plenary expansion of Krishna and material expansion, both come from Krishna. So this comes under the material. So separated in material energies of Krishna, the Prakriti. No, but what are the plenary expansion of Krishna? The Purusha incarnations, Mahavishnu. So from Mahavishnu means Mahavishnu is also known as Karanodaka Shai Vishnu. So what does he do? Creates total material energy. It is called as Mahatattva. So and when Mahavishnu states, I mean, it is like he glances at the Mahatattva, and then the creation happens. So this is given in Bhagavatam. And Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu, he enters into every universe to create diversities. And also Mahavishnu is the one from whose breath innumerable universes are innumerable produced, right? Innumerable universes are produced. And Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu goes into each of the universe to create diversities. And necessary whatever paraphernalia required in the universe, he creates. That is Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu. And Kshirodaka Shai Vishnu is like a Paramatma. He is there, enters into every atom to maintain as a super soul. So one who does not understand Krishna, what does he think? Material world is for my enjoyment, right? Enjoyment of living entities. So this is a wrong understanding. We all were thinking until we come to Krishna consciousness, we all were under the same impression, right? I was also thinking like this world is for us to enjoy. We don't know that what we are part and parcel of Krishna, and our constitutional position is to serve the Lord. Only then we can be happy, because we have been finding happiness in different places, but we cannot find it, right? Until we realize that only by serving the Lord, and when I chant, only then I get that happiness. Otherwise, no. So living entities are Purusha, cause, controller, enjoyer of material energy. So this is told by whom? Who does not know Krishna. He thinks that I am the cause, controller, enjoyer. How can this be possible, right? Because person, oh, if he is earning some, I mean, he feels that he has done, but Krishna says in chapter 2, so never think that you are the uh, uh, I mean, you're the cause for any action, because for everything we are so much dependent on the Lord. For even for growing a tree, right? For the farmer may tell that I have sown the seed, I have watered it, I have done everything, I have put the fertilizer. So I'm the owner of the fruit. But then Krishna says that I am who has given you the seed, right? At first place, and then who has given the rain, who has given the sunlight. So everything is given by Lord. So we think that we are cause, but if we see, go into detail in everything, Krishna only is the cause. So that is why the peace formula. Anyone knows what is the peace formula? How can we be peaceful? 5.29.
Mataji Pandita Samadarshanaha.
Yes, Swati Mataji.
Pandita Samadarshanaha.
No, peace formula. How can we get peace? Pandita Samadarshinaha is one who sees everyone an equal platform. That is Brahmabhuta stage. So I'm asking, how can one be peaceful when we understand three things Krishna says there in that chapter, in the shloka 5.29? Anyone knows? What are the three things Krishna mentions? Okay, don't want shloka. At least tell what are the three things which Krishna says.
Krishna is superior energy.
Supreme
Enjoyer,
controller.
supreme enjoyer.
Enjoyer.
Greater than greatest. That is supreme Lord.
Yeah. So he says,
Then
I'm
Lord
the
is,
enjoyer,
then Lord is
controller. Yes.
Benefactor of well-wisher of all beings.
Well-wisher. Yes, very nice. So, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvalokamaishwaram Surudam Sarvabhutanam Natva Mam Shantim Richati. But here, the one who does not know Krishna, what does he think? That I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, right? This is the wrong understanding. That is why we are in so much of anxiety, thinking that I am the controller, I can control. What can we control? We can't control anything unless there is Krishna's. Because we saw in the previous chapter, so chapter 5, we saw the three doers, right? One is the soul, one is the super soul, and the material nature. All this together, three together, only something can happen. We think that I am alone is a controller, but that is not true. Only if Krishna desire, it can happen. So material creation is temporary. All activities directed by Sri Vishnu. Ingredients of material world are separated energy of the Lord. So it is Krishna's energy only. So he has three energies. What are the three energies of the Lord? So what are the three energies of the Lord? One is internal energy, and one is external.
External and marginal energy.
Marginal and external.
Yeah, very nice. So this come under which energy? This earth, water, fire, ether, air.
External.
Yeah, even the mind, intelligence, false ego is also material only, right? That is why we are in a false illusion that I am this body. This is coming from the false ego because it is material. And gross elements, earth, water, fire, ether. Okay, this is called as gross elements, and subtle mind, intelligent, false ego. Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. So Krishna calls the living entities as the superior because we are lording over material world, right? We are exploiting the material nature. That means material nature is lower, that is external energy of Krishna. Living entities are higher energy because they are in a marginal. They have a choice to become internal energy of Krishna. Like when you are in devotional service, then you are in an internal potency of Krishna. But then when we forget Krishna and we are engaged in sensing enjoyment, then we are in external energy of Krishna. So the Supreme Lord Krishna is the only controller and all living entities are controlled by him. These living entities are his superior energy because the quality of their existence is one and the same with the Supreme, but they are never equal to the Lord in quantity of power. So we are same, right? Nityo Nityanam means we are eternal, Krishna is also eternal. So because there's no mention when the soul has come into place, it's always there. So just like Lord, it's always there. So it is eternal. We are also eternal, Krishna is eternal. Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam. So both are conscious. He is also consciousness, we are also consciousness. But then what is the difference? Eko Vapi Bahuna Vidadate Kaman means a one person, Krishna alone can maintain all the living entities. The 84 lakh species Krishna is maintaining. We cannot, right? We know about my body. I am aware of my body, what is happening, and I can take care of my family maximum, right? Or I cannot do more than that. For that only we struggle. But Krishna is maintaining all 84 lakh species. So how is he able to do that? So that is why he is Lord. So that is why we cannot never compare between Krishna and us. In quality we are same, but quantity is a huge difference. Etadhyonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagatah prabhava pralayasthatha. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know that certain that I am both the origin and dissolution. So Krishna is the cause for both, for material and for the spiritual. So besides inferior energy, Lord Krishna, superior energy are living beings. So the Shaktis which we just mentioned, Antaranga Shakti is the superior, the internal potency of the Lord. Tatastha Shakti, that is living entities fall here, the Siva, soul, the Jiva, the marginal potency, it is also comes under superior. And the Bahiranga Shakti is the external potency of the Lord, which is called as inferior. That is material world. So in that again, it is divided into gross and subtle, right? So gross, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and in subtle, mind, intelligence, and false ego. So what are these jiva doing? Exploiting material world in conditioned state, because we are conditioned by three modes. Because the pure, by nature, it is very pure, the soul. I mean, the soul is pure, but when it comes in contact with the material world, it assumes the three modes of nature. It's not that if I am in some mode of passion or ignorance, I have to be in the same mode. I can come to mode of goodness. Only then we'll be able to understand this Gita, or right, to advance in spiritual life, at least we have to come to the mode of goodness. So how do we develop? By association. That is why it is very important to be in association of devotees and do more of reading, read Prabhupada books and hearing, right? So then liberation means free from material illusion, I and mine. So mam mameti. So this concept of I and mine, attachment to one's own self and to the family, and extended family purposes, that is extended selfishness. Selfishness, one person says his state or his, some people are attached to their own, the so-called religion, right? And then the country, like that, it goes on. But then again, everything is, it is because of the bodily identification. So one can come out of it, then that is the real liberation. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So Krishna says that Matta Parataram, there is nothing superior to Krishna. So Krishna is the superior, most superior. So everything is, the analogy given here is how the pearl is strung on a thread, right? So we can see in this, the pearl necklace. So it looks so beautiful, but what is it holding? A thread. There's a thread inside which is holding. So similarly, because of Krishna, this everything is happening on time, everything. The sun is coming because even the sun and moon are afraid, or everybody are afraid of Krishna, the all devatas, because they're all performing everything perfectly, because by the instruction of the Lord. So we may think, because the foolish or the atheistic people may think it all happening just like that. How can it happen? Even a small thing, right? Even if you don't like, if we don't have water, unless we put a switch, right? The motor, it cannot pump the water from tank to our tank. So how can something such a big, it can happen just like that without some intervention of Supreme? So that is a very, Prabhupada says anybody who is sane should understand that there is a superior power. And Krishna says the same thing here, that everything rests upon me. So because of Krishna, all the planets are in place, and it's floating. It looks like floating in the air, but then it's all Krishna's energy, because of which it is there in space. So different opulences of Krishna. So his taste of water. Krishna is in water. Krishna is a taste of water. So the salty water, it's not the salty water of the ocean, because that is not the pure taste. The sea water is not drinkable, no. But this pure taste of water is Krishna, and he is light in the sun and moon. He's the light of sun and moon. So from where do they get the moon and sun get the light from? So that is Krishna. And Om in the Vedic mantras. So Om represents Krishna. So all Vedic mantras, Om is there. But then here we may get a question, why Hare Krishna mantra is not having Om? So anyone knows why? Why Hare Krishna mantra is not having Om? Most of the mantras have Om, right? Which is represents Krishna.
Already Krishna name is there already. Krishna name.
Yes. Nice. Yes, good. So because Krishna name itself is their direct name, so Om is not there, because Om is just a representation, but here Krishna name itself is there. And in ether there is a sound, come, right? So there's something, there's a sound in ether, and in man, the ability in man is Krishna. So anyone has a ability of, it can be anything, or somebody has a very good memory, some is good in dance, or some has a very good mathematical skills. So these are all abilities which is coming from Krishna. So in earth, Krishna is fragrance. Fragrance, the first rain when it comes, the nice fragrance, right? We get, that is Krishna. And in fire, heat is Krishna. And all that life is Krishna. All ascetics, penance. All existence, original seed. So he is a original seed for 84 lakh species. So just like in a tree, a root maintains, no? Because of the root, the tree is maintained. So similarly, the Krishna is because of the, Krishna, everything is maintained. So he is the original seed of all the species. So intelligence. So all powerful men is prowess. The strong, his strength in the strong, devoid of passion and desire to protect. Strength. So is a sixth life, not contrary to religious principles, to beget Krishna conscious progeny. So this is different energies, opulences of Krishna. Echaiva satvika bhava rajas tamasaschaye matta eveti tan vidhi natvam aham te shrute mayi. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. Sorry. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the mode of material nature, for they on the contrary are within me. So these three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, are created by Krishna, his energy. But then Krishna is not controlled, because many people may think that Krishna is coming under those mode or by seeing his action in some place, but it is not so. Krishna is always under protection of, he is in the internal potency of the Lord. So he's in Yoga Maya. So there is two. One is Yoga Maya, one is Mahamaya. Yoga Maya is internal potency. Mahamaya is external energy of the Lord. So Krishna is independent, Swarat. So Name karmani limpanti, name karma phale spruha. Krishna says in chapter 4, right? It comes in. So no work can bind Krishna, because though he has created the 4 varnashrama dharmas, but then he does not come under that. So similarly here also, though he is the creator of 3 modes, he's above these 3 modes, he's transcendental. So I'm not under. Contrary, they are in me. So this is like a achintya beda abeda tattva, right? So Krishna is there in that, but he is not. They are in Krishna, he says. So Krishna is called as Nirguna. Nirguna means one who does not have guna or quality. What does it mean? He does not have no material quality. It does not mean that he don't have quality, because he is Nirguna Guna Bhoktrucha. He is the master of all qualities. What is that shloka? Which comes in chapter 13. Sarvendriya Gunavasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, Asaktam Guna Bhoktrucha, something it will come. Asaktam Sarvabruchaiva Nirgunam Guna Bhoktrucha. Guna Bhoktrucha, original of all senses, though he is without senses. No? Krishna is without sense, but then he is the origin of all sense. Krishna is the origin of modes, not within the mode, and therefore he is Nirguna. Nirguna means not affected by the material modes. All material activities are conducted under these 3 modes. These modes emanate from the Supreme Lord, and he is not subordinate to them. So Prabhupada gives the analogy of a king or a lawmaker. He is not subjected to the state laws. So though the king is the lawmaker of his state, he is not subject to it, right? So the rules is not applicable for him. So similarly, Krishna, though he is the origin of everything, it doesn't apply to him. So section C is very small, just 2 shlokas. So we'll just cover this and we can close for today. The 3 modes are controlled by Krishna, therefore surrender. Tribir gunamair bhavaihi ebi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhya paramam vyayam. Deluded by 3 modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So because we are in these 3 modes, Krishna, we are not able to understand Krishna. So to understand Lord, we have to strive to come above these 3 modes, above the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Only then the person is able to. So the realized souls are in the pure mode of goodness. That is why they are able to understand Lord. So that is why it is said, no, Tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshina, they have seen the truth. That is why they are able to give us the knowledge. Can someone read this from the puppet?
What are these forces called modes? The modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance are aspects of Krishna's inferior energy. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has innumerable energies. For our understanding, however, they have been classified in 3 groups: the inferior energy, which is material, the superior energy, which is spiritual, and the marginal energy, we ourselves, the living entities. We are called marginal because we may come under the influence of either the superior or the inferior energy. For example, our body is Krishna's inferior energy. That means that by nature it is temporary and is a source of ignorance and misery. If one identifies with the body or mind, if one thinks that he is an American or Indian, that he is fat or thin, healthy or sick, Hindu or Catholic, democratic or communistic, and so on, he then comes under the influence of the inferior energy and its material qualities. Thus, one is impelled to act by the modes or qualities of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. If we remember, however, that the life force, the source of consciousness within the body, is different from the body itself, and if we act in that remembrance, then we can free ourselves from the influence of the material energy. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So how do we know whether we are in inferior energy or in the external energy? I mean, the internal energy or external energy. If we are involved in always reading or in devotional service, some devotional service, thinking about Lord or reading Prabhupada books, then you are in the uh, internal potency of the Lord. But then when we are engaged in, if we most of the time we are engaged in the external energy, means the where Krishna is not there, right? So basically here Prabhupada is telling, if we are identifying ourselves with the body and mind, and identifying oneself with the bodily identification, whatever we label ourselves, right? I am this, I am that, or rich, poor, we label the people accordingly by that bodily identifications, then we are inferior. So that means we are in Krishna, it comes under Krishna's inferior energy, which is a external energy. But then when we are engaged in spiritual practice, then it is called as we are in a higher energy of the Lord. So it's not easy to come out of bodily identification, because for millions of births we have taken different bodies, and we are always had some or other bodies, right? Because otherwise why would be here still? So we have taken many years which we don't remember, where Krishna says, Bahuni me vyati tani janmani tavatarjuna tani ham veda sarvani natvam veda parantapa. So millions of light, Arjuna, you have also taken, I have also taken. I remember everything, but you don't remember. So that is a problem. That is why we are, but then with the knowledge, we have to try to act in that way, right? We understand, and then slowly, not Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu says, Trunadapi Sunichena. I mean, how do we develop the humility when we are not having much bodily identification, right? Because of that only, we expect this honor and respect. These things come because of bodily identification. So slowly, when we are not, I mean, not that we are allowing others to abuse us, that does not mean that humility does not mean that we are allowing others to abuse, but then at least we should not take those things very what to say, uh, too seriously, because then what will happen, if we are more engaged and mind is always thinking about those things, you will not be able to concentrate on pure chanting, will not happen. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Now, Drunadapi sunichena tarurapi saishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahare. If you want to do sincere chanting, then we cannot be more, we should not be in more of a bodily identification. So come out of it, and then you can have a pure chanting. So that's what it Prabhupada tries to say here. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So for Krishna, there is nothing impossible, because, right? So he is the cause. He can create a danger, and he can eradicate the danger also. So he can protect. So nothing is impossible for the Lord who has taken the shelter. Krishna will, like, it does not mean that problem has not there. Still you may have problems in life, but Krishna will give the strength to overcome the problem. So that's how he protects, or he will make the problem smaller, right? So Prabhupada gives the example of like how the footprint of a calf, that is very small, no? So to cross the ocean, it's very difficult. But when there is a water in the hoof print of a calf, like the footprint of the calf, the water, very less water will stand there. You can cross over it. So similarly, the difficulties will look small, or maybe the difficulty may be the same. The way you perceive it is, the look at it will change when you get that knowledge, right? You no more that will bother you. Like, I mean, you may have some experiences after coming to Krishna consciousness, like how the same problem which used to look so big may not be the same now, right? So that is because Krishna gives that knowledge. Krishna explains how to get free from the modes. So bound. So we are Nitya Baddha, that is eternally bound, the conditioned souls. Very difficult to overcome, since controlled by Supreme. So this, even the material energy of Krishna Krishna calls is that Devi Hesha Gunamayi, means my divine energy. Why? Anything which is associated with Krishna is divine. That is why even the material nature, Krishna calls as divine energy. Material energy is called so because divine connection and movement by divine will. So because she also works, Shrishti Sthiti Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Biparti Durga. Ichchanu Rupamapi Yasya Cha Cheshtate Sa. So she works as per the direction of the Lord, and she maintains and annihilates everything in this material world based on his instruction. That is why she does not do anything independently. So hence it is Krishna's divine energy. And Guna as rope, only Krishna or his bona fide representative can rescue one. So devotional service can help one gain release. Krishna, out of paternal affection for the living entity, can order his energies to release the conditioned soul. So when Krishna is pleased with our service or pleased with our devotion, he will ask Maya Devi that please don't trouble my devotee, just leave him. I will take care of him, right? Krishna will take care personally. So no one can trace the history of being conditioned. So there's no trace when we got conditioned. So how to get free from clutch of Maya? Mameva ye prapadyante. Only surrender to Krishna. Only Vishnu, who is the master of Maya. So okay, I think this is the last. Okay, with this we close for today. So 3 sections we covered today. So what are the 3 we covered? So knowing Krishna in full by hearing about him, knowing Krishna as the source of both material and spiritual energies. The 3 modes are controlled by Krishna, therefore surrender. So in the next 3, tomorrow we'll see D to E. Okay, with this we complete. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnavindike jai namacharya chakur ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone. Any questions on today's chapter? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, about book you posted, right? So Krishna book.
Yes.
If you don't mind, will you share the picture? Because I don't know anything, but I want to read the book. That's it. That's why I want to order the book. So I want to order the book, but I don't know what are the contents, because I have searched in the ISKCON Desire Tree. I think it's there something. I've seen that
Mataji,
index.
it is there in Veda base also.
Oh, okay. Mataji, I want the book. So how I need to proceed? Just you guide me, then.
Yeah. I shared you the Google payment thing.
Yes,
You
Mataji.
can just make the payment. Give me the postal address.
Okay,
It
sure.
will be from temple. They'll courier it.
Okay, Mataji. Sure, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Mataji, just one question. Akrura, you mentioned, right? 9 kinds of bhakti. That Akrura is one example. If you don't mind, will you tell me about Akrura? I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. Akrura was a minister in Kamsa's kingdom. No, he goes because he was called for that Malla Yuddha, Krishna and Balram. So Kamsa sends him because he wanted to kill. No, he knows that Krishna is the one who is from whom he is going to get killed. So he sends him to bring Krishna and Balram. So he goes there. So he goes to bring them. He was a minister there, but he was a devotee of Krishna. Though he was working for Kamsa, he was a devotee of Lord Krishna. So when he was coming on the way from Mathura to Vrindavan, Krishna was there. So he was coming from Mathura. So on the way, he sees the footprints of, because on Vrindavan, they were playing, right, barefoot, Krishna and Balram. So their footprints when he saw, so there he started to pray, pay obeisances. And there is a prayer in Bhagavatam, big prayers of where he is doing Vandanam. I mean, Akrura. Just by seeing the footsteps, he started there he got down from his chariot and paid obeisances and prayers, started praying them. So that is why he is remembered, Mataji. That's all I know. I don't know much.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Raunak. How are you? Long time. You didn't come
Yes,
for two.
Mataji.
You
I'm
missed
fine,
some
ma'am.
2 sessions.
Yes, Mataji, I missed 2 sessions.
Yeah.
Mataji,
Then
what is Atmanivedana?
surrender. Surrendering totally. Surrendering to the Lord. That means we know that shloka of surrender. What is surrender? Accepting anything which is favorable to Lord, right, on devotional service, which is told by Guru and Krishna, and rejecting anything which is not favorable to me for my advancement in spiritual life, or which is given as a rules, like Prabhupada has given something, following that strictly. That is accepting, and rejecting which is not favorable, and having a firm faith that Krishna is my protector, right? Krishna will protect me, and having that faith, and the Krishna as having a faith that Krishna is my guardian, seeing Krishna that Krishna is guiding me, right? So when I was hearing to one lecture to a senior devotee where she was saying, like, whenever we are in a problem, and which is basically most of the time when we have problem in life, we start to point the other person, right? I mean, our mind is like that. It tries to tell that the other person is wrong, not you. And when you start trying to see solution, and the mind is the one which gives this. If you're taking the solution from the mind, obviously it will not be right, because the mind is the one which is giving. It cannot be right. So what should we do? We should pray to Krishna. You should pray when you do the chanting, or when you before that also you can pray to the Lord. Like if you are having some finding difficulty, you can put the problem in front of Lord and ask him that, please give me a solution. What is the right thing to do? Not necessary that you may feel that is right, or maybe it is not a comfortable situation or comfortable thing for you to do, but that would be the right one to do. So Krishna will give. That's what she was saying. Like Krishna answered, and many devotees has experienced that, and it happens even when we are sincere in our prayers and we are following what Guru and Krishna is said in Bhagavad Gita. Then Krishna will reciprocate, and but then we have to do that also, right? So that is acts as a guardian. And then the last one is Atmanikshepa Karpanye Shadvida Sharanagati. That is Atmanikshepa means with all humility. We should be very humble enough when we approach a spiritual master or to Krishna. We should be sincerely, we should think that I don't know anything. Please guide me, Krishna. Right? So that is complete surrender. So that for that, because Bali Maharaj, right? He didn't even think a second to give up his life. So he had given his life to Krishna. So that is why he is the Acharya for surrender, Atmanivedana. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Bhagya Mataji, you have a question? Okay, hope all of you are chanting, right? That is the most important thing. Every day, please chant. If try to chant in early morning, okay? Get up early and try to finish your chants in the early morning, because we are in Sattva Guna that time, right? So we don't have distractions. It will be very peaceful to chant. And fill the sadhana form. If it is, I don't know if it is shared in group, or I'll check with the admins. So you can fill that. And yes. Okay, if there are no other questions, then we can close. Okay. You can all unmute and we can say Hare Krishna 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. See
Hare
you all
Krishna.
tomorrow. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.